Welcome everybody. Just gonna do a quick mic check. Can you all hear me all right out there? Appreciate you being here. Awesome. Thanks, sir. I will be live here shortly, folks. Appreciate you hanging out. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another B&B Quickie. I'm really good at clicking off the mute button, ain't I? No, I'm not. Hope you all are doing well out there. Hope everybody's having a great day. Today was my day off. I did a little mix of productivity and a little mix of being a complete bum. So, you know, I'll take that. You know what I mean? It's good to have a good kind of a good mix, you know, at least I would think. But who am I? I'm just a man. I'm just a man. Just a man. Look at a little ant house up in there. All right. Man, am I excited to talk about this one. I got to tell you. This is a game that we're going to talk about tonight that has been around for a long time. It sees many spots where it's allowed to have life still, which is pretty awesome. A little quiet. I'm a little quiet, or the music's a little quiet? I am. Well, that's pretty rare, but thank you for letting me know. Why don't you try turning up your volume? You don't even hear the music, huh? Oh, okay, well, that's fine. You know. So this is the ongoing joke that I've been dealing with when it comes to my capture card. Starting last night, and I'll get into that a little bit further here. Let me see if I can crank that up. I've been having capture card issues for... How's that? You hear it a little bit better now? I think it's you. You always had. Maybe you need to turn up your volume, Drass. That's what you need to do. That's what you're going to have to do. I'm sorry. But yes, I've had some issues over the last 24 hours with my capture card, and it's messed up a bevy of things. So I think I'm almost back to having it all set. See, I think my mic looks like it's too loud. It's hitting that whatever. But yeah, you're gonna turn your stuff up, Dresden. I'm sorry. Hey, Gumby, welcome. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming out today. Like I said, this is a game that I'm super excited about. This is something that I still play. Matter of fact, I actually played a little bit today. So, it's something that still remains a constant in my life throughout many years. And this is a game that I played growing up nonstop. This was something that I never stopped, honestly, ever playing at some point. So, to get right into it, it's the ET, yeah, the ET, yes, the ET game, yes. I actually, Took a trip last week out to Arizona and dug some up out of the sand. I'll have a show and tell here in a moment. We did the ET game. You know what's funny is that actually we, as a family, like my immediate family, my grandparents had the Atari. We definitely had ET. And they also had Drag Racer, which I don't know why my cousins were fascinated by that shitty game, but whatever. So, getting right into it. River City Ransom, also known as Street Gangs, in Asia and other parts of Europe, is a non-linear, open-world, role-playing, beat-em-up hybrid developed by Technos Japan and released in 1989 for the NES original system, or however you want to say it. I know there's always so many weird names for it, right? It shares similarities with certain arcade game beat-em-ups like Double Dragon, but what made this one specifically unique was that it had a small RPG depth to it that sets it apart from just being a straightforward beat-em-up. So that instantly alone, like when you hear that for especially a game that during that era, a lot of those games that came out of the coin-op era were very straightforward, a lot of beat-em-ups, a lot of really hard games. That's why NES games are so hard, is because the guys that were developing games now for home consoles still had the mentality of coin-op, that it had to be a super hard game, so they pumped more quarters into it. It was a whole mentality, and it definitely carried over into the early consoles such as the NES. So what made it nice about this game is that it was, you still had certain things that felt like that, but it had a lot more depth and roundness to it. So it's actually the third game in the Kunio-kun series, which is, if you're familiar with, you've seen the artwork, the classics, the big ones in the artwork you'll be able to see is Renegade was the big one, and Super Dodgeball. You more than likely at some point in your life have seen some of that artwork and some of the similarities and the character features and stuff like that. And like those games, they went under a lot of changes for the Western market. So back in the day, when these games would come from Japan over here, they would have to make them more appealing to the Western market. You know, which would usually be certain dialogue tweaks, because over here we were so, and still to some way, so picky about our consumption of like mature content, where in like Japan, it's pretty natural for even younger ages to be exposed to certain things that we wouldn't be maybe over here. So you've got certain dialogues, you got certain looks, and you've got certain appeals, right? So they pretty much changed a lot of features for that to come over this way. So Super Dodgeball is the truth. Yes, that's right. That is correct. Super Dodgeball definitely is. Mega Man was hard as a mofo. Absolutely. Yeah. Those games. Yeah. That era of game is fun to relive and be nostalgic about, but you will rarely find me playing that shit anymore. Bouncer. I'm gonna guess. Are we talking like the PS2 game? But over the years, this game has actually lived pretty consistently in the gamer world, whereas a lot of games and different things that happens with, licensing and publishers, it's kind of a one and done, or they got to fight to get that, or that, because that company don't exist, or whoever gets it. But over the years, it's still been on PC. We've seen it on GBA, the Wii U Virtual Console, 3DS, the regular Wii, of course, and recently with Switch, the online subscription to Switch, Nintendo's online feature, you actually get the game on their SNES, aka NES, emulators. So there's like two apps that have a bunch of NES games, a ton of NES games, and then they added the SNES games. That's how it worked. And honestly, I shit you not, when I first subscribed and I downloaded the Nintendo app, the very first game I played instantly on the Switch, through their little subscription, was River City Ransom. Day one. I was super, super hyped for it. So, if you recall, that's the original westernized cover art for the game right there. Looks very, very something out of Grease, right? Like, the t-shirts, the jeans. And it's funny because when it came from Japan as street gangs, over there in their schools and stuff like that, they wear the uniforms. So they had to remove the uniforms and put on, the jeans and the t-shirts and stuff like that. So, let's see. Van Damme and Steven Seagal. There you go. Got those sweet crew cuts. So that's the that's what we got, and this is actually their art style. That's what they get. You know, so you can kind of see the uniforms and stuff like that. You know, it's obviously very anime, like as pretty much all their art is. But this actually looks more like the actually in-game sprites as well, too. Right? Legend of the Mystical Ninja, huh? Yeah, well, it's all, you know, a lot of those games came from Japan, especially back then, you know. There was westernized, like, publishing and stuff like that, and I don't think the developing was as huge, but back then it was mostly right out of Japan. Good old Technos. Good old Technos. Good old Technos. Now, the story, pretty simple. The story of River City Ransom is really not that complicated, right? Hey, thank you for following. We appreciate that. We got the sound, but we don't have the graphic, and I was even testing it. Boom, there it is. Appreciate that follow. Welcome to Banter and Babble. Hello, Blaylock. Oh, a little minor celebrity here. What's happening, sir? Welcome to Banter and Babble B&B Quickie. The story, Alex and Ryan, as they cross River City, are trying to save Ryan's girlfriend, who has been kidnapped by a student, an evil student clearly, named Slick at River City High School. Good old Slick. Good old Slick. Along the way, as you're crossing River City, you're dealing with gangs, students, and then eventually you have to take out gang leaders. So it's kind of like a hierarchy, you know, and being that it's open world, you know, non-linear, you'll go to a certain spot forward, and then like, oh, you can't go any farther. Well, I can't go any farther. Well, I can't find any boss. Oh, you have to go back after you beat maybe somebody else, or sometimes the dialogue, and it's hard to miss, or hard to see, excuse me, it's easy to miss, because the dialogue is it runs kind of fast sometimes. You might have to go back to like a park early on, and then all of a sudden there's the gang leader, then you gotta beat him up. Which is pretty dope, so. Ah, yes, somebody already brought River City Girls. We will talk about that briefly. Just hang on. I got some goodness for you. Good old way forward. All right, so instead of me just babbling about it, you're all familiar about it. Why don't we watch a little bit of gameplay? Turn down this some of the ant house for a minute. Oh, I can already hear that beautiful music. Isn't that beautiful? That iconic coin bounce, right? Now this is the beginning of the game, clearly. This is right outside of, oh my god, I'm already gonna forget the name. Jesus, shit. Man, I'm not gonna remember the name. Run that way, buddy. Yeah, let's see it. Ow. But as you see, like, you pick up, those are some knucks out there, some brass knucks, or iron knucks, whatever you want to call them. The dialogue was fun about it. That's one of the things that made the game enjoyable as well, too, is the dialogue and whatnot. But I can't express enough how much I love this game. It actually, so, last year on Facebook, you know, they always do these, like, do your top 10 albums of music that define who you are growing up and blah blah blah. So the video game one came through, and I was excited to do that one. That one actually took me some time though. Matter of fact, I had to do 11 because I couldn't just do a top 10. I had like a runner-up kind of one for an 11th. But this one made my top 10, defining games of who I am as a gamer, where I've come from. Again the nature that I played it, because you know, like I said, I played it over and over. And really, it was the first kind of hybrid style game for me to play, you know? Like, I started out pretty early on RPGs with, like, Final Fantasy and some Legends of Zeldas and stuff like that. And clearly, like, other kind of beat-em-up games, like Double Dragon. But this was just really unique and about everything they do. Oh, yeah, we're already getting some of the good stuff. There's the sushi bar right there. Should have known years ago, and now here I am. Maybe this was the reason I'm so fanatical about sushi. Good stuff there. The menus are pretty brilliant as well too. But honestly, you could grind. That was what you had to do. This is a game you had to grind out your time and money to get better upgrades, because you could get the cowboy boots or something, you know, if you grinded long enough, and then get to the end and just kick the shit out of Slick or whatever in the Twins. And go to the chat here. So, I heard of River City Girls recently. Looked like when I saw the trailer. Yeah, so it's got those light elements. It's kind of just like hybrid, definitely. Was Metal Gear on that list? Metal Gear was definitely on that list, Gumby. Absolutely. Yes, I totally would get sushi. Munoz knows. Munoz knows. Some of the stuff, clearly the iconic coin sound is amazing, right? But the music in this game has been stuck in my head all day. I can tell you that. No shit. But the comedy and the dialogue and kind of the combination of the two, like, there's a lot going on when you stop and actually really see what this game is doing from a gameplay standpoint as well. It really is almost like an anime kind of come to life in a game, you know, again, because some of the comedy and some of the bits and whatnot. You know, as you're beating up gangs and stuff like that, some guys will beat up and, like, you'll just see, like, ah, or like almost like Wilhelm screams or something like that for some of this shit, but it's very comical in some of the ways that they actually present it. It's pretty dope, honestly. And yeah, you can sit in menus and just buy the shit. Like, honestly, I would grind, like, once you get past that first city where the sushi bar is right now, and you're getting, like, right outside of that park, I would grind there forever, and I would just go back into the city, come back to the screen, and come back through and just beat dudes up, you know, because right out the gate, you wanted to get about $20-25 so you can start getting some of the good, and we'll get into that in a second, too. Hard to play in one sitting. A lot of games back then, if you remember, on the NES, didn't have actually save states, so it was really hard to sit and play games. This is another one of those ones. You had those long-ass save codes, so you'd have to write down, like, you know, 20-some characters to save your spot, and I swear to shit, 90% of the time, you always fucked it up, and you'd never end up where you were anyways, and it always pissed me off. And some of the stuff would never actually save that you actually had, so you'd still have to grind or do other stuff out, too. It used to drive me nuts. You know, thankfully, like, probably one of the biggest innovations in any gaming is some sort of save states. But there were a lot of games back then, again, coming out of that coin-op era that just didn't have that mentality, you know? So you actually had to put the work into it by actually writing down all those codes. They fucking suck. Yeah, I hated that too, man. I had pieces of paper all over my fucking house with, like, codes and shit written down or in the saving the boxes and stuff like that. But the main things that I can tell you that I always saved up for, which I think I want to say were right around $75, $50-$75 for the cowboy boots. You could also, I think, there was something else you can get for your hands. Early on, you start out with stone hands and stuff like that, but then you get the cowboy boots. And I always save up for Omni Jolts and Karma Jolts, I believe are some of the names. I'm trying to remember. They're basically health packs. So you could even get health packs in this game, you know, that you could use. So if you're in a fight, like with some of the big bosses, you pause the game, take a Karma Jolt real quick, and all of a sudden you got more life back as well, too. But again, those RPG elements with getting equipment and stuff like that, eating, some of the food you would eat would actually raise your stats for the entire length of the game. So it would be, you know, you'd eat something, all of a sudden, oh, sweet, my strength is up, or whatever it is. But you would also, not only that, but you'd gain health back as well, too. So, you know, as you see, like, you start really micromanaging parts of the game, you notice it's very, very in-depth of a lot of, you know, what you would expect out of an RPG, too. And then who can forget, or even remember at that point, the secret store in the tunnel? When you're crossing, I want to say it's about a third of the way through the game. You're in this tunnel, and I'll never forget when the first time we found it. Secret door, like, it's under, like, I want to say the third lamplight. You push up, and all of a sudden you go in there, and it had equipment in there that was like the most expensive stuff in the game, like things that were like $200 and $300 that would take you literally, you know, hours upon hours to grind out. And it took long enough to grind out to get to like almost 100 for the cowboy boots. But man, I'll tell you, like, doing that, there was like, I want to say Merlin's wand was one of them or something like that. It was like a real tough stick or something like that. But one of the early on again, of course, is let me see where you at right there. That's what you're working out for right away early in the game. Stone hands, dragon feet, and acro circus. Now, clearly stone hands for punching, dragon feet is for kicking. The acro circus, which made that great, was when you got a good running start and you jumped, you'd roll, and you would hit people as you would roll instead of just like jumping normally. And it was good because you could start a fight out with, like, not really stunning them necessarily, but you would kind of set them back so you can kind of like roll, jump into them, and start like a kick or something like that as well too. Pretty freaking dope. Pretty freaking dope. And then, of course, early on, Merv's Burgers. You know, Sushi Roll was a little bit more expensive, but in that same area, you had Merv's Burgers. Ate a lot of spicy chili, let me tell you that. A lot of spicy chili and maybe some fries, right? But then, of course, you could always get that smile for free. That nice lady at Merv's Burgers put out a lot of smiles to us growing up, guys and gals. And there she is. Tricky. Did Neo Geo have a memory card you could take to the arcade and save? That's pretty dope if that's legit. I honestly don't know anything about that. It's pretty rad, though. Let me tell you that. Wish we could still get that for free. Yeah, I know. Well, as somebody who works in the retail space, that ain't even a thing. Nice try, though. Nice try, though. Let's see. Okay, so getting to the last but not least part. And this is one of my favorite parts. So, as a kid playing this game, there is a spot in this game that I don't know why, it's still funny to me to this day. I have no idea why. But when you're like 10 years old, dumb shit is funny to you. But this spot in the game where you actually, if you guys recall, you go to the sauna sometimes and you would like get your health back and it would actually raise your stats temporarily as well too. So we'd go in and out like nonstop because you do it 3 or 4 times, you would max out your stats and stuff like that. Because after a while, some of your stats would deplete. You know what I mean? Yes. Those exactly, guys. But there's a sauna. As a kid, that was the funniest thing in the world for me. Little sprite butt. That's it. That's it, guys. That's the B&B Quickie. That's all I need. There you go. You could just put that up, right? that shit had me rolling as a kid. I don't know, probably why I still like dumb jokes to this day. Oh, this is what triggers you, man. It's the little character booty that you has you remember the game now. That's pretty fantastic. And they definitely, yeah, it's funny, yeah. Look where we're at nowadays. Now you get high def booty when you're playing Ghost of Tsushima. Dude's getting in the hot springs and stuff like that, right? That's hilarious. It's really funny. So there have actually been some actual sequels to this game, and there have been games that have shown shades of this style. There was actually a Kickstarter started in about 2012, 2013, which I did kickstart, and I do have a copy of it. The River City true sequel to it that you can get on Steam is a sequel to the game, but it was in developmental hell for a long time. I never really played a whole lot of it. I was so upset about how long it took them to get it. They had a lot of hoop jumping, a lot of shit was going on with that, so they actually couldn't get it out for a while. Like, I remember getting updates on it and being like, oh, we're still working on it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, these motherfuckers took my $20. I've never seen this game, but eventually it did came out, and eventually at that point I just didn't care anymore about it, so it was irrelevant to me, so. But big games that you know of, like Scott Pilgrim. You know, when Scott Pilgrim came out, that movie still got a cult following, clearly, because of the comics and stuff like that. That game was very, very River City-esque, but a little less on the RPG side of it. Hard as well, too. Like, that's definitely not an easy game. I'd actually play with a fight stick. That way you could actually use the joystick, which is pretty cool, too. But, honestly, even that one, but none of them, they never really hit that magical sweet spot, at least for me. And I don't know for anybody else, but, you know, this game is, they even call it in some of the areas, they call this game, like, it's a cult classic, you know, River City Ransom. And it's true. It's like no game really similar to this has ever really hit that kind of feeling that we get when you play it, or that success, or however you want to say it. You know, because the game actually didn't do great on initial release, but over time, because they've kind of kept it relevant, and you know, old guys like me will still go back and play it and show other people about it too. It's remained relevant over the years, which is pretty wild. So. Then, 2019, we got a game called, as you guys were talking about it briefly, River City Girls, developed by Way Forward, from the Shantae fame and many, many kids games for about 3 decades. They've actually been around for a while, developing games this way forward. Shantae is their biggest probably success and most well known. But it is a spin-off actually from River City Ransom. It follows the protagonists, Kunio and Riki, who need to rescue their boyfriends. We're going to play that trailer for you. I do own this game. Back in River City.
Oh, please. Come on.
Whatever.
What up, Forge?
Ricky and Kunio! They've been kidnapped! I'm coming, Kunio! Ricky, I'll save you! Stay down! I'll kill this guy's face!
Get over here!
What up, bro, Seth? Ready to break a leg?
Oh, no. Well, let's do this.
We'll find whoever took our boyfriends and beat them into the street! Yeah, what she said!
You can tell already the difference is that the big thing, of course, is compared to back in the old days where they would have to almost rehaul big pieces of the game to sell to the Western market. Now, anime over the last 20 years especially, you know, as somebody who's also big a fan into anime, has completely, you know, been, you know, part of our culture to some degree as well, too. You know, so they don't have to work so hard to bring games over from East over here to the West, because at this point it's all integrated. We're all pretty much used to that kind of art style and that art design, and it's pretty sweet, honestly, too. I haven't beaten it yet. Like I said, I do have it. One fun thing to note of that, though, is that WayForward actually had to change the secret ending after some vocal criticism. I don't know the details on what that secret ending is, but apparently people were pretty pissed about it, so they did have to change something of that June after it was released. January, excuse me. But the averages on that game, honestly, the Metacritic, it sits around 8 out of 10, like, and that's for, you know, it's available on pretty much every platform, you know, so if you've got that bite and that need, definitely check it out. If you don't have a Switch to play River City Ransom, highly suggest having it for sure. They almost dropped a year and currently sports a yeah. Did you ever download or play it, dude? I'd be more than happy to play that some night, by the way. Like, if you ever want to just sit and fuck around playing that. I think it's got online co-op as well, too. It's a very nice homage to the first. And again, it is a spin-off from it, so it is relevant to the actual series. WayForward did... Of course, I don't believe Technos even exists anymore, but they did... Whoever still has either licensing or stuff, they definitely did their best to work with some of these folks that they were able to you know, get it to be part of the actual DNA of River City as well. So pretty dope, pretty exciting. I definitely need to beat it at some point, but you know, me in my games these days are always the backlog is about as long as my log in the morning. That's pretty much how that works. So that is it. That is my River City presentation. So now let's get into a little bit of housekeeping notes. Before we get deep into that, but what do you guys think? Are you guys fans of it? I mean, I know some of you old guys out there have clearly played it. You know, I don't know, dude, are you familiar with River City Ransom at all? Have you actually ever played it? Did you play it as a kid? I know you got a Switch, and I'm sure you got the online. You know, it's a great game to play. Like I said, when I first got my subscription to NES, I keep saying NES, now I'm saying the NES, to the Switch Online, that was the first game I played. I mean, I downloaded the NES app, knowing that they had all these emulated games up there, and I saw River City Ransom, and I shit my pants. I'm like, I played it for, you know, a good hour or so. Is it $30 on PSN? Man, it goes on sale a lot, though. I know I saw that on sale, like, half off recently. Okay, so Drassen said he played it, but didn't hook me like others of that genre did. See, like, and I like Double Dragon in those games. Don't get me wrong. They're fun beat-em-ups, but, you know, I'm a menu guy. Like, I like being in menus. I like micromanaging. I like the RPG depth. It's non-linear. It's literally an open-world game set up in a Double Dragon style, you know? Yeah, check it out on Switch. It's free. I don't believe no any online co-op. No, are you talking about River City Girls? has no online co-op, because that would be super lame. That would be lame. To Dragon Warrior 4 at the time? Well, that's respectable. You know, I played a lot of Dragon Warrior growing up, but I never really continued with the series so much. I don't even think I ever beat Dragon Warrior 1. That shit was fucking hard. Those games were no joke. But it's very iconic, you know, when you're getting hit and you're hearing that the screen and all that shit. Shit used to creep me out, though. Yeah, River City Girls is local co-op only. Well, don't you think that's stupid? That's dumb. I thought it had online co-op. That was part of the reason I bought it, because a buddy was talking about it. I was like, we should play this online. Yeah, 1 was really hard. Sir Edric's Armor. Is that right? Well, maybe some night, dude, we can sit on the couch and play some of that River City Girls co-op. You know, there we go. Stream it, too. Nice and like a B&B Plays romantic night where we play this or something like that. But yeah, so anyways, again, back to some housekeeping notes. So if you were able to make B&B Plays last night, we appreciate that. It was a kerfuffle. Thank you for your patience for either playing or watching. My capture card is still affected me some today. Mostly everything all fixed. It seemed like it was literally due to an update that I had to manually update myself like I'm a fucking pilgrim. So I'd love that explanation. Like, even the Stream Deck, when I turn it on, it's Elgato, and it goes, oh, you got an update. Why the fuck do I have to manually play with my capture card to get a goddamn update for it? Unless it... I know I don't have it turned off, so I don't get that. So, that actually fixed it. My only guess is, after the update was done, hours later, I'm still fucking with it, and I turned on the actual capture for Elgato, and it was playing the sound. I'm like, oh, that's weird. There's the sounds on that. And then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, finally it worked on the OBS. Like, all of a sudden, it just choked itself to start. Now today, the capture card grabs audio. So sweet. This last couple days and this last week, I definitely want to get you on a, yeah, user error. Suck my ass. Don't even start. If you'd have said that last night, I probably would have had a meltdown, that's for sure. Tons of crazy next-gen stuff going on in the last week with we talked about it on Banter and Babble last week, but the PlayStation dropping pre-orders out of nowhere, and then the Xbox stuff that happened on Monday, which was they bought Bethesda. There's that. And then, day after, they had the pre-orders for their systems, which was another kerfuffle, because while Sony threw them at us, Xbox didn't give us enough, and it's just a whole mess right now. So, TGS is going on today throughout the weekend. I haven't seen any huge announcements come through yet. I did have somebody tell me that Metal Gear Solid games, some of them are finally coming to the PC. I don't know if that was announced through TGS or not, but there it is. But we'll probably get a little deeper into that, I'm going to guess, from Banter and Babble, which is next week as well, too. Dude, are you streaming this weekend? Friday Rage stream tomorrow night by any chance? I might look into seeing either Saturday night or Sunday morning, maybe doing a community stream again, maybe doing some more B&B plays. There's a really sweet game right now on Gamer Pass. I just downloaded it. I already forgot the name of it. It's a golf game. It's kind of like a Hot Shots golf or something like that, but maybe not as goofy. So maybe we want to get into some gaming like that, maybe Sunday afternoon or something like that for a couple hours. If anybody's interested, I'll hit you up in the Discord. If you haven't had a chance to join the Discord, of course, right there, hop on our Discord, talk to us all the time, get involved with our community and stuff like that. So dude is apparently going to do a Friday Rage stream tomorrow night, so look for him right around usually 9 p.m. Eastern time. Going to get sweaty and golfing with friends. That's what it is on Xbox. There you go. Xbox Game Pass, we got it. Download it. Let's play some games. So you can have 12 people on it, so that should be a good time. But look for Dude tomorrow night. Pay attention to our Discord or any of our social media for any updates as well, too. And then, last but not least, if you have not been watching Impact Wrestling, for our good buddy, the X Division champ, Rohit Raju, he's been running that division. It's very funny how he's running it. He's making the entire group of guys who are part of the division constantly fight themselves to try and get contendership, or to be the number one contender, whatever you want to say, for the belt to fight him. And he's basically a puppet master right now, and it's brilliant. It's hilarious. He's outsmarting him is what he's doing. He's 2 or 3 steps ahead of him. It's pretty awesome. So if you get a chance, check out some of the Impact highlights. You can find them twitch.tv/Impact Wrestling, and also their YouTube. And there's going to be clips on Rohit's actual. There you go. Thank you, dude. Dude already on it. Follow Rohit and cousin Jake's, also of Impact, on their Twitter for any of those fun updates as well too. You can see all that good stuff. So pretty sweet stuff that he's doing. So with that, thank you everybody for coming out tonight for the River City Ransom. Again, I'm actually probably gonna play a little bit of it after I get off this and hop on the Switch real quick, because I'm itching bad to play it after watching and talking about it for the last couple days. So make sure if you guys got time next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right back at this channel. At the very latest, we'll be doing a proper Banter and Babble show. We'll have all kinds of great stuff to talk about with y'all. Watch for us this weekend, maybe for some community gaming if you want, especially with this Golf with Friends. Sounds like we might be able to get up to 12 people in there and goof around too. And there's some other games we're talking about too with B&B Plays. And hopefully once things get to be a little bit more norm, I would like to start once in a while, maybe on a Sunday, not only doing B&B Plays on like a Wednesday, but maybe adding a couple hours on a Sunday as well too, to get everybody together, play around, and goof off too without having to be ridiculously intoxicated like I usually like to be. So with that, everybody, you all have a good evening. Thank you so much for coming out. Hope you all are doing well. As always, we appreciate your support. We appreciate all the sharing, all the shout outs, the word of mouth, everything you guys do for Banter and Babble. We honestly can't thank you enough. It means the world to us. We're here because of you guys. So thank you for that. And hey, there's still a pandemic out there, so wash your hands. What do you think, cat? Wash your butt? This cat needs to wash her butt sometimes. She's got a furry butt. So, hi, cat. You guys have a good evening, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.